Hello, good afternoon all. This is our next lecture of electronic product design. Subject code is 404185. In this lecture, we have to study the operational amplifiers used in signal conditioning like amplifiers, filters, oscillator, analog to digital converter, digital to analog converter, study of parameters in operational amplifier, PSRR, CMRR, noise, offset current and voltage, slew rate, etc. Power amplifier concept is covered in your power electronics subject in third year. Now I'll give overlook of what is power amplifier, operational amplifier, what is the function and all. Okay, now without wasting our time, we will start with the concept. Then first question is that what is operational amplifier? Okay, op amp is a shortcut for operational amplifier. An operational amplifier is an integrated circuit that can amplify weak electrical signal. Clear? Operational amplifier is an electronic circuit which can amplify weak electrical signal. An operational amplifier has two input and one output pin. Its basic role is to amplify output the voltage difference between the two input pins. Clear? See the diagram. Here is operational amplifier. There is two input signal and one output is there. Two input in that, one is positive non-inverting input and second is negative inverting input. Okay, in upper side there is a positive power supply, that is VCC, and in other side negative power supply, that is VEE, 5 volt VCC. Okay, and next is output is there. Clear everybody? Operational amplifier provide almost ideal gain component for used in amplifiers, filters, oscillators and control systems. But the nuance in their work can be very troublesome if you do not know it or don't test for them. You will find that most complex integrated components have more complex parameters of operation and specifications. Keeping these precautions in mind, you will be ready to do some real troubleshooting. First, check is the problem in a oscillation. Then consider the AC operation. Clear? Does the output get stuck on a voltage rail? Then consider the op-amp DC operation. Operational amplifiers is a DC operation. The other area are bad offset voltage, long overload or short circuit recovery, long settling time and change in thermal environment. If the fundamental component of oscillations is not near the unity gain frequency of open loop gain, then the problem is not feedback loop stability. If the feedback loop is problematic, then the larger gain is the closed loop which stabilizes the oscillation. Otherwise, a small or stray capacitance on the inverting input, the op-amp will create a feedback pole and cause instability. Clear? Make sure the ground and return plan are correct and the layout is good. Use capacitors to bypass all the power supply lines next to each op-amp. Make sure the problem is not related to the power line or EMI. Once you have solved a problem, be sure to carefully examine the circuit with different types of loads, large dimension, input signals and frequencies. Clear? what things you should to know is I tell you. Second is what an operational amplifier can do. As I told you, the operational amplifier is not used but alone, but it designed to be connected to other circuit, perform a great variety of operation. This article provides some typical example of uses of op-amp. Clear? Characteristics of op-amp. Which are the characteristics? In this section, test circuit for some important parameters of op-amp are given. These parameters can characterize an op-amp and help you reduce the uncertainties in operations. Your application probably does not want that op-amp to be fully characterized, but will focus on one or two important parameters. Clear, everybody? Now we have to learn the signal conditioning. What is signal conditioning? Which function of signal conditioner is considered or used? Okay, signal conditioning is a process of data acquisition. Signal processing is a process of data acquisition and an instrument called a signal conditioner. Clear? The instrument which is used for signal conditioning is called as a signal conditioner. Okay, used to perform this process. This instrument convert one type of electrical or mechanical signal into another type. In signal conditioning, what happen? There conversion of one energy to another. For example, electrical or mechanical signal to another output signal. Okay, conversion work is done by signal conditioning. The purpose is to amplify and convert this signal into an easy to read and compatible for data acquisition or machine control. A signal conditioner helps to provide precise measurements which are essential for accurate data acquisition and machine control. These instruments can perform an additional number of different functions also. Functions of a signal conditioner. The main function of a signal conditioner is to pick up the signal and convert it into a higher level of electrical signal. Everybody should know which instrument is used for signal condition. It's known as a what? Conditioner. This instrument convert one type of signal to another type. Which is the input signal? It may be electrical or mechanical input signal, which converts it into the output signal. Okay, but purpose is to amplify the signal and convert this signal into an easy to read and compatible form for data acquisition and machine control. Signal conditioner help to provide precise measurements. Okay, then function conditioner of signal conditioner. Function of signal conditioner. The main function of signal conditioner is to pick up the signal and convert it into a higher level of electrical signal. Okay, then signal conversion is often used by industrial applications that used wide range of sensors to perform measurements. Due to the different sensors being employed, the signals generated may need to be converted to be usable for the instruments they are connected to. Any sensor signal is capable of being converted to any standard process signal. Clear? Op-amps characteristics. In that, first point is common mode rejection ratio is there. If a signal is applied equals to the both input of the op-amp so that the differential input voltage is unaffected, the output should not be affected in practice. Changes in common mode voltage will produce change in output. The op-amp common mode rejection ratio is the ratio of common mode gain to differential mode gain. Okay, for example, if a differential input changes of y volt produce a change of 1 volt at the output, and the common mode change of x volt produces a similar volt change of 1 volt, then the CMRR is x oblique y when the common mode rejection ratio is expressed in dB. It is generally referred to as common mode rejection. Please note that there is very little consistency in this throughput. The semiconductor industry, with regards to the use of dB or radio values for CMR or CMRR, typically low frequency CMR values can be between 70 dB and 120 dB, but at higher frequencies CMRR deteriorates. In addition to CMRR numeric specifications, many op-amp datasheets show a plot of CMR versus frequency. Clear? In short, the CMRR means the common mode rejection ratio depend how much an op-amp rejects the common mode voltage. Clear? CMRR is not the same as gain bandwidth product. It is a non-linear curve of the ratio between the change in offset voltage and common mode voltage. V offset V versus VCM common mode. However, instead of relying on op-amp to eliminate it, it should design a common mode noise outside of a circuit. Clear everybody? Common mode rejection ratio is the ratio of common mode gain to the differential mode gain. Okay, next is PSRR, power supply rejection ratio is there. See here, PSRR, power supply rejection ratio for op-amp. PSRR is the ratio of change in input offset voltage with respect to the change in power supply voltage. The standard used in the datasheet in DC variation PSRR 20 log power supply variation, input offset voltage variation dB. Generally, PSRR is frequency dependent and decreases as the frequency increases. Measuring the open loop gain of operational amplifier, frequency response analyzers are often used to measure power supply feedback loop response impedance versus frequency of source load impedance and of passive component. They can also be used to measure the characteristics of semiconductor devices, such as the open loop gain of the operational amplifier. The open loop gain of an operational amplifier or op-amp is the output voltage divided by the difference between the non-inverting and inverting inputs of op-amp or amplifier. Okay, the typical gain of op-amp range from 104 to 105 or higher. Because the gain is so high, the input signal for an op-amp must be very small to keep the op-amp output within its linear range. In fact, It is nearly impossible to measure this gain with the loop completely. However, there is a technique that can be used to measure the loop gain or open loop gain of op-amp. The op-amp The open loop gain or the gain band around the feedback loop can be measured with the open loop by injecting a signal in series with the feedback loop at the correct pin in the feedback loop. There are two criteria used to select the correct point to inject into the feedback loop path. The first one is to find a point where the loop is confined to a single path, and the second it is to find a point where a low impedance is driving into a high impedance. The only place where the feedback loop meets these criteria is the point where the loop senses the output voltage as shown in figure. See figure 100 ohm injection resistor is inserted in series with the loop at that point, right? For this example, observe this diagram. For this example, the input to the amplifier is grounded or biased to a fixed set point for the open loop gain. Measurement with a 1 kilo ohm resistor and 1K resistor is used as a load. Additionally, for an operational amplifier, loop gain measured another resistor is inserted between the injection point and the inverting input to maintain the condition of a low impedance driving into a high impedance. Even though the input impedance of the inverting input is high, it acts as a virtual ground. A 1K resistor was chosen for figure 1, but the lower value resistor could be used as long as it maintained an impedance ratio of low output to high input impedance of at least 100 to 1 to get a resonantly accurate measurement as seen in equation 2. What is equation 2? AOL actual open loop gain is equals to AOL measured plus Z out upon Z in divided by 1 plus Z out upon Z in. Clear? Referring to figure 1, the floating generators of the analyzer is connected across the injection resistor. In the case of analyzer without a floating generator, the floating secondary of the injection transformer is connected across the injection resistor. Channel 2 is connected to the output or low impedance side, and channel 1 is connected to the input or high impedance side of the injection resistor. The frequency swipe is done from a lower frequency until just past the loop crossover at high frequency. In many cases, the op-amp open loop gain is going to so high that no analyzer will have to resolution to measure it at low frequencies, even if you inject as much signal as you can into the circuit. However, the loop crossover and phase margin can still be varied. As a side note, on Venable plots, the phase margin is measured from the 0 or 360-degree phase line because the analyzer measures the inversion of negative feedback loop. See here in PPT there is diagram, okay, for dynamic loop gain, slew rate measurement, output noise measurement, all the diagrams are there. You can refer that for exam also, okay. For offset voltage it is given, okay. Please go through it. Now we will move further. The after completion of dynamic loop gain, I will move further towards the slew rate measurement. This is the circuit diagram and plot for the slew rate measurement. Okay, rate of change of output voltage with respect to time period. Rate of change of output voltage with respect to time period is input pulse is there. Now I explain what is slew rate and what happened exactly. In this session in op-amp slew rate basics, here we have to study what is slew rate, what exactly happened. Okay, the slew rate of op-amp or any amplifier circuit is the rate of change in output voltage caused by a step change on the input. It is measured as a voltage change in a given time, typically volt per microsecond or volt per millisecond. Okay, here is the diagram. Look at this. See here. Here is input square wave is there, right, and output wave limited by slew rate V0. That means output voltage is get changed with respect to input voltage. Clear? Everybody observe this. Input is square wave is there. Got the concept? Now this is the op-amp circuit to calculate the slew rate. Now we are moving towards the explanation. A typical general purpose device may have a slew rate of 10 volt per microsecond. This means that when a large steps change in place on the input, the electronic device would able to provide an output 10 volt change in 1 microsecond. The figure for slew rate change are dependent upon the type of operational amplifier being used. Low power op-amp may only have figure of a volt per microsecond, whereas 3 are fast operational amplifiers capable to providing rate of 1000 volt per microsecond. The slew rate is governed by the operational amplifier itself, and as a result, the slew rate performance of the whole electronic circuit design is not affected by the feedback applied. The cheap cases for the slew rate limitations are caused by the internal frequency compensation included in most operational amplifiers to provide stability, especially at high frequencies. Another contributory factor is the small internal drive current as well as any in he out limitations in the output stage. These all combine together to limit the rate at which the output negative going transmission because of circuit configuration. They have a compulsory output to pull the signal up and down, and this means the two sides of the circuit cannot be exactly the same. However, it is often assumed that they have reasonably symmetrical performance level. There are still some operational amplifiers that are not internally compensated and need external electronic components to provide the compensation. These can be optimized to provide the best balance between stability and slew rate. Our next topic or next part subpart is analog to digital conversion. Okay, introduction. Unipolar for 0 to 5 volt and bipolar converters -10 to +10 volt. Characteristics value of ADC: resolution, power dissipation, conversion time, sampling time rate, Nyquist rate of ADC, practical issues, errors, qualification error, missing code, different non-linearity difference in digital codes, low power ADC design are there, dynamic power dissipation based on circuit activity, static power dissipation. We have to cover this topic. This input output of any computer system is there. There is ADC and DAC is used. ADC means analog to digital conversion, DAC means digital to analog conversion. This is the general test configuration for ADC. Here is input clock pulse from the signal generator, then given to the low pass filter. Mixer is there, then spectrum analyzer and ADC. ADC converts analog to digital converter. Digital signal is applied to computer because computer requires digital signal. Okay, now we look analog and digital conversion in detail. Actual concept of analog to digital converter. Analog to digital converter or ADC is a data converter which allows digital circuit to interface with the real world by encoding an analog signal into a binary code. Analog to digital converter allow microprocessor control circuit, okay, and Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and other such digital logic circuits to communicate with a real world. In the real world, analog signals have continuously changing value which come from various sources and sensors which can measure sound, light, temperature or movement, and many digital systems interact with their environment by measuring the analog signals from such transducer. While analog signals can be continuous and provide an infinite number different voltage values, digital circuit on the other hand work with binary signal which have only two discrete state, a logic 1 or a logic 0, logic 1 for high, logic 0 for low. So it is necessary to have an electronic circuit which can convert between the two different domains of continuously changing analog signals and discrete digital signals. And this is where analog to digital converters come in. Basically, an analog to digital converter takes a snapshot of analog voltage at one instant in time and produces a digital output code which represents this analog voltage. The number of binary digits or bits used to represent this analog voltage value depends on the resolution of an analog to digital converter. For example, a 4-bit ADC will have a resolution of 1 part in 1524-1, whereas an 8-bit ADC will have a resolution of 1 part in 255 28 minus 1. These an analog to digital converter take an unknown continuous analog signal and converts it into an n-bit binary numbers of 2n bits. But first let us ourselves of the difference between an analog signal or digital as shown. Okay, where we can see that the wiper terminal of potentiometer is rotated between 0 volts and Vmax. It produces a continuous output signal. Which has an infinite number of output values relative to the wiper position as the potentiometer wiper is adjusted from one position to the next, where there is no sudden or step change between the two volt levels, thereby producing a continuously variable output voltage. Example of analog signal include temperature, pressure, liquid levels and level intensity. For a digital circuit, the potentiometer wiper can have been replaced by a signal rotary switch which is connected in turn to each junction of the series resistor chain, forming a basic potential divider network. As the switch is rotated from one position to the next, the output voltage Vout changes quickly in discrete and distinctive voltage steps representing multiple of 1.0 volt on each switching action or steps as shown. So for example, the output voltage will be 2 volt, 3 volt, 5 volt, etc. but not 2.5 volt, 3.1 volt or 4.6 volt. Finer output voltage levels could easily be produced by using a multi-propositional switch and increases the number of resistive elements with the potential driver network, therefore increasing in the numbers or of discrete switching steps. Then we can see that the major difference between an analog and digital signal is that the analog quantity is continuously changing over time while a digital quantity has discrete step-by-step values low to high, high to low. So how can we convert a continuously changing signal with an infinite number of values on one which has distinct value or steps for use by the digital circuit?